Hi everyone. I am happy to be here today. We were away last week for Easter, so I'm happy to be back. This is Create Good Conversations. I'm Danielle. I come every Sunday and most Wednesdays, although we will not be here next week because I'm having an open house in my home, so I'm not going to be here. And I don't think you want me to do it from a different location with my family. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Hi, everyone. Today I'm talking with Gio. I'm so excited. She has a very interesting story, and she's very, very positive lady. Hi, all. It's good to be back. Hold on. Let me let Gio in. Maybe she'll get to join us.
Whoa.
There you are.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Good. Am I too low, too high?
No, you're perfect.
I'm
How about me? It always
you're
switches
great.
when we get
Yes,
two people. It switches a little.
exactly. I
Yeah.
was like, maybe I should wait until we are actually live.
Yeah. How do you feel today? Happy Sunday.
Thank you. You too. Well, I'm very tired today. We got a puppy yesterday.
What?
Ah, I'm crazy. But anyway, do you want to see her?
Yes.
Oh,
Of course we want to see her.
okay, just say. Caray, Luca, cos'è
Oh,
talaga?
hi. Hi,
Ah,
baby.
this is Soleil.
Muy guapo.
Ah,
What's its name?
it's a she,
Oh,
and
it's a
it's
she.
her name. And her name is Soleil.
Soleil. Bonita.
Soleil.
Hi.
Sí, thank
Oh,
you, gracias.
awesome. What a great way to start.
I know. It was a rough night, though. Thank you, Lucas. It was so hard. She
What?
cried a lot.
Oh.
No, she's separated from her siblings. There's seven, so yeah.
And what's the breed?
She is a mini poodle, I believe. Yes.
Okay, okay. And how old? Do
Yes.
you know how old she is?
She just turned 8 weeks, like
Oh.
maybe Thursday.
It'll get
Yeah.
it'll get easier, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, and we have a Labradoodle, and he's a sweetheart. He's 7 years old, and
Okay.
he's a sweetheart. So we're hoping they get along. So far, so good. But yeah, she kept me up all night.
Oh.
I'm like, is this like going back to diapers?
How, you have a lots of help though. How many people are in your home right now?
Um, mm, I have Franco and Lucia, which are the youngest. We have
Uh-huh.
three adult children,
Okay.
and one is temporarily living with us. And then Lucia and Franco, when they're 14 and 11. Lucia turns 11
What?
today.
Happy
So,
birthday, sweet girl. Oh
yeah.
wow, cool.
But we celebrated on Friday, so she had, it was she'll have a, chance to
She
have her
she turned
party.
11 and
Mm-hmm.
did she have a party?
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. Yeah, she decorated for her party. I'm like, okay, well, great.
She gets that from you, I guess. Styling.
Really loves it. I mean, and she can totally take apart the things that I put together. Oh, mom, I wouldn't do that.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I do appreciate her input because she's good. She has a good eye.
Good. Good.
But yeah, and it's just being it's not criticized, but being just like evaluated, I guess, by your kids is sometimes is
It
humbling.
is humbling, that is for sure. Would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Yes.
Okay.
So my name is Giovanna, and my account name is Northrop Avenue. I we started. I mean, I started this account while we had a booth at a consignment shop where my husband and I were building furniture and selling it. So I would design the pieces, and my husband would build them, and we sold them at the shop. I needed a name, and uh, I said, well, I had a lot of help, and I think it was my sister-in-law said Northrop Avenue, and I'm like, yes, I'll take it. So
And
so
where are you located?
that's I'm in Arizona in Queen Creek, which is like southeast of Phoenix.
And, and how long? What are we drinking, Gio?
Okay, right now I'm gonna drink water, then I'm gonna go to my drink.
Okay. I have a chocolate shake,
Yes. So
protein shake.
so my son made it, and he's like, "Mom, it's not a shake, it's a smoothie."
Mm,
So don't
the
try. It's a
smoothie.
smoothie, but it's a
What is
chocolate
it? Ice
smoothie.
cream or what is it?
Well, Lucas, that's my son. He's in an journey to eat healthy. We found out that he has all this, you know, allergies and all these health issues that were we did not really know where they were, coming from. And after doing some research and actually, trial and error, um, he eliminated all sugar and all gluten and dairy, and he's eating super clean. So he's like, Mom, I'm a shake for myself, and I made one for you. And
Right? Yeah.
yes. And it's it's been really fascinating to watch him going through this and learn how to take care of his body and listen to
Listen to
the
his body,
signs.
right?
It's super important. I
Yeah, yeah.
did not grow up even knowing what was happening.
Right.
So just unaware. And I feel like it's a skill, right? It's a skill.
Yes.
So,
That we have to hone for sure. For sure.
yes.
It's a skill that we have to work at. Yes, I agree. Okay, I have 20 blast questions for you. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. They're just fun. If you feel like elaborating, you can. Otherwise, we'll just go through them. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, Follow your heart or be smart.
Follow my heart.
Build it or buy it.
Build it.
Regrets or doubts.
Regrets.
Time travel to the past or to the future.
Oh, I don't think I want to do either, but if I but if I had to choose future,
Okay.
future, yeah.
You're pretty content with the present.
Well, I have learned that things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in some of the hardest ways, I've learned that things happen for a reason. And I was actually talking to a friend not too long ago. My very good friend. She's I've known her for 17 years. We met where our husbands were going to grad school in Michigan, and she's from Chile. And she's one of the first persons, that I call after my son passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years later, her son passed away. So we have that special connection on top of our friendship. But I was telling her that, if I had a time machine, I could get in and I can't go back. And if I was told that I could change something, I don't think I would change that. It has been such a life changing
Sure.
experience that it has just taught us so much, and has really, really, I look at life completely different now There's a before and there's an after. And without that, and I used to think, okay, I used to think that people, oh, I wouldn't change anything in my life because, everything. I used to think that people said that because they were just trying to get on with life and just like, but I mean it. I mean, I know it. I believe it. I know that things happen for a reason. And I learned to look at all the beautiful things that actually came after the
Mm-hmm.
loss.
Sure.
And so that's why it's hard. Okay, it's when you hear it doesn't make sense. What do you mean?
Right.
You wouldn't change that, but the experience comes, it's a whole package. It comes with a whole bunch of different feelings, experiences, and knowledge, and connections that you make that you would have to erase that too. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Live theater or a live concert?
I concert. Hmm.
Live abroad or live in the U.S.?
U.S. I lived abroad long enough.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
I'm happy right now.
do you like neutrals or you like colors?
I like neutrals in general. I was looking at my closet and I was like, maybe I need more color. But once I do have red dresses that I love. So,
Sure.
but
Sure.
uh, but neutrals in general, yes, yeah.
How about sweet or savory foods?
Sweet, yes.
Uh, would you rather cook or be cooked for?
So somebody cooking for you is be cooked for. Yeah,
Yeah.
be cooked
Yeah.
for. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I had to
That's all right.
translate it. I had
Uh,
to translate it in my head for a little bit. Yeah.
large collections or mini collection?
Mini collections. Hmm.
Public or private?
I'll say public,
Okay.
but as I get older, I notice that I'm getting more and more private. I appreciate,
Private.
yeah, more quiet, but
Hmm.
I think, yeah, recharge by being with people. So I
Sure.
think, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The beach or the desert?
beach,
Mm.
yeah,
The sunrise or the sunset?
sunrise.
Would you rather go to an estate sale or an Etsy sale? Do you like to shop online or in person?
I like Etsy. I have an
Yeah.
Etsy shop, but
Yeah.
it's a different mood that goes with the experience, right?
It is.
Don't you think?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
Would you rather plan it or wing it?
wing it.
And play the music or dance to the music?
Um. Well, I am a pianist,
Yes.
so I love to play the music, uh, but I do love to dance too. So, um, but I'll say
Again, a different mood,
dancing.
right?
Yeah,
Probably a different
dance.
mood. Yeah.
Yeah, but dance to the music. I'll say, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
dance to the music. Yeah.
Would you rather read or write?
Read,
Okay. And do you benefit more from a good cry or a good laugh?
cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cry.
How
Mm-hmm.
was that? That was 20.
That, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Oh, that was great.
it.
Yeah.
So you already kind of briefed on it, but you were talking kind of, they refer to that as the butterfly effect, where you make one decision and it affects, or one moment in time affects, you know, you don't even know how much it affects really, right?
Right. You don't
They
even know.
say,
Yeah.
even if you skip a rock across the water, you see the vibrations in the water, but it's also, there's sending vibrations up into the air and down, and it actually goes in all directions. So the really how this all like happened is when you move from Venezuela to the US, right? Do your parents make that
Argentina.
decision? Or Argentina, I'm sorry.
Argentina.
Argentina. I knew that. Dang it.
That's okay. That's okay.
uh
We speak
Argentina
Spanish.
to the US, and then you who makes this decision for you? Are you on board with this decision, or did your parents just tell you we're going?
Um, we were, yeah. So my parents pretty much decided that we were going to do that, even though I was 18 at the time. I didn't I I didn't feel there was anything there for me next. It's hard to explain. I I remember, as I mean, even one of my youngest memories is um just looking around and not feeling like I didn't fit, but not because I didn't fit with the people. I just, I don't know, I wanted something else, something different, something, I don't know, I don't want to say more because that's kind of like in the eye of the beholder,
Right.
right? I mean, it's just kind of like what people need, it varies, but I always kind of felt not a little bit out of place in the, when it comes to maybe opportunities or experiences, what I wanted to experience and go through and learn. And I felt kind of like, so this is it. If I stay here, this is gonna be it, and nothing, just
So
nothing's
bigger
gonna
kind
change.
of, not better maybe, but
Right.
bigger.
Right. And so it made sense when my parents decided, um, oh, Freddie, when my
Mhm.
parents decided to move here, it felt a very natural, just transition into this next stage. And but we're excited and we were like super ready, but you don't know it until you get
How
here.
many of there are you, or how many are there of you?
And
How many siblings do you have?
we're 8 siblings.
Okay, okay. So everyone's
So
coming.
actually, no. So my older sister was already married and she stayed. But what happened was that my mom, my dad, one of my sisters, and we came here and we got jobs and we worked for 4 months straight to save um, the money to pay for the airplane tickets for the rest of my siblings. And
Did you come right into Arizona, or where did you go?
we went to, so first we made a few stops, but we kind of settled because we had friends in Utah. And so that's where we settled. And I think we got here like on a Thursday, and Tuesday I was already working. Um, um, yeah, things were different, legally things were very different. This is pre, 9/11.
Sure.
And so, um, so yeah, it,
Do
it
you
was
speak English?
different.
No,
No, I
no.
mean, I knew bathroom.
Yeah.
I knew just, I took French, in high school. And, but no, I mean, I know I didn't speak. My parents, my dad did, but the rest of us, we just, were thrown into this, into the culture and just like, and we just had to kind of hit the floor running. Um, there was a big incentive there to be doing all this. So my youngest brother was 8, and that was very hard for my mom to be separated, from them and for him. And so they were kind of spread out with relatives and friends, you know, the rest of them, and yeah, that's what we did.
Wow.
That's what we did until we were able to save the money for that, to fly them here. So
Do you kind of embrace the culture, or are you in culture shock?
I think I embraced it. My dad traveled a lot here to the States while I was growing up, and so I was familiar with the culture, with some things. And I mean, we grew up with my dad always bringing like things like M&Ms. Okay, you can find M&Ms everywhere in the world right now,
Hmm.
but back then you couldn't.
Right.
And we had things like Dr. Pepper and ranch and I don't know, all these things that you could not find there. And so I mean, but besides that, my dad always talked about it and how much he liked it. I mean, he talked about how he liked how things worked and the opportunities that people had over here. And he had very positive experiences. He had his own business and had been, importing and exporting, and so he had made some connections. So we were familiar with the culture, but that's not to say that it's not the same as living here, right?
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
I was looking forward to. We were all excited. The change was hard, yes, but I was single, different.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I was
Right.
single. I worked. I was, you know, um, I didn't have a lot of, I don't know, worries at the
Sure.
time.
Sure.
We had so much help from friends and family, and that made it really possible. I mean, yeah.
What year is this?
This is 96.
Okay.
Six.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your mother's working too, or is she? Yeah.
Yeah. At that time she was. And I mean, and my mom was wanted and was able to stay home with the first, let's say five of us.
Okay.
But then the last, three was my mom would, she had to, and she really didn't want to, but she had to, so we can all just contribute. But um, that's kind of like the mentality of
So
the
you're
culture.
working and likely just handing your paycheck to your dad. Yeah.
Completely, entirely. I did not see a penny.
And willing. I mean that you're willing to do it that way.
No question about
Yeah.
it. No
Yeah.
question about it. Now we can just take that apart
Yeah. Yeah.
and say, what does that mean? Is that okay? It's not okay. How do you feel about it? That's a whole completely different, you know, uh, side of it. But at that time, I knew that was needed. I knew that that was my contribution. My parents were my age now when they just did this. They just packed and they left everything they knew, things as they knew it, and their culture, their country, their parents,
Yeah.
um, and siblings, and just for a better life, here for us. And so I didn't understand the magnitude of that sacrifice until, you become a parent. And
Well, and then you kind of turned around and did it. Kind of, right? I mean, you kind of turned around and made the same choice. How many years later did you guys decide to move to Germany?
so we moved to Germany, I think it was 2004, I think it was.
Okay,
Yes, I
so
think it was 2004.
around 8 years, you you figure out the how to live in the
On our
U.S.
way.
and get settled in, and then you turn around and move to Germany.
Yeah.
Of which you
Yes.
don't know German either. I'm yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay.
I have to say
I mean,
though,
there's no, I
no,
can't imagine. I
no,
truly cannot imagine.
no. Yeah, it's not, there's no words to explain it really how hard it is, but I I did not really want to move again. Okay. So to
Okay.
be honest, I did not want to move again. I had found my place. I felt comfortable. I finally adjusted to the culture. I was speaking the language. Um, we had three little ones at that time. We had Juliana was 4, Lucas was 2, and Marco was 7 weeks old. I did not. And we moved ourselves. I mean, we
Right.
did not have, yeah, we didn't have, because my husband is an opera singer, he traveled to Germany, he auditioned everywhere, and then we picked up a place. And I I did not want to go. It was so hard. I had just been diagnosed with postpartum depression. Um, like I said, I had a 7-week-old baby. It it was a lot. It was a lot. And but yeah, um, I don't know. Again, I just felt like, okay, this is the next step, and this is what we do. And I don't think about things being hard for too long. I just do it. So,
Yeah. And then you spent, was it 8 years?
we spent almost 12.
12 years in Germany. Wow.
Yes.
So during that time you learned German?
I defended myself. I could defend myself. I mean, I think, when I look back and I'm like, oh, looking back is always 2020. But I feel like, okay, all these things that I could have done, all these antiques that I could have gotten, and all those things. I feel like it took all of my energy to just go through the experience and take care of the little ones. Um, uh,
You're at home with them
I'm
during the
at
day?
home.
Are
Yes,
you also educating them or are they going to German schools? The
they were
older one.
going to German schools.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and uh, I mean, f- we didn't start with kindergarten right away. I wanted time for the kids to kind of transition, and but over there, the laws when you're an immigrant are very different than
Sure.
here.
Sure.
So if you are not native, if you weren't born there or have been, naturalized, which only happens after you live there for 8 years at least, um, then you have to send your kids to kindergarten. It's law. By law you have to. Or you can get fined and you can get, yeah, I mean
Hmm.
it can get ugly.
Hmm. Sure.
But and I understand what's the reason, behind it. It's because they want people to just like what's the word I'm looking for? Um, adapt to society,
Sure.
learn the
Sure.
language,
Sure.
and just contribute. And so I get that. Don't like the idea of being forced to, but I get that. So, but we waited a little bit, and then we put Julian in kindergarten, and yeah, everything in German, moving there ourselves. Um, just just the weather, it's gorgeous. Germany is beautiful. It's green all year long. It's just the whole country is like a museum. um and it's very cloudy,
It's very
and
cool. Yes.
it's humid, cloudy,
Hmm.
and overcast all the time. And that made it hard on me here.
Yes.
I, uh, you know what? One time the kids said the sun came out and the kids were looking out the window, and Lucas, I think he was 5, he's like, Mom, somebody turned the light on outside.
Wow.
That is how cloudy it is. You notice when the sun is out. So I think that also made it hard. I love the sun. That's why I'm here in
Sure.
Arizona.
Sure.
I
Sure.
love the sun, and I also learned that I need it. Seasonal depression, it's real, and it's a real thing. And I, I know now that there are some things that you can control and other things that you can't. The weather I can't, but I can guarantee sunshine here in Arizona all year long.
Yes, even on cloudy days, it's still sunny. It's still bright. It's just
Yeah,
such a, they have it's just bright there always. It's not like
yes,
some of the cloudier areas that when it's overcast, it feels dark and it's like shadows and shade and things. Not in Arizona. It's just
yes.
even when it's cloudy, it's still
It's
bright.
still bright. You're right. You're
Hmm.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, now that you say that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I we lived in like the Seattle area, and now
Oh,
we are not too far from you, right? We're
huh?
about
That's
400
right.
miles ish from
Mm.
you. So it's bright here too. Even when it's cloudy, it's still bright, but it's definitely different than being, the further north you go, I think the darker it feels, know. So anyway,
Yes, and even though it didn't get as cold as it got here, we moved from Michigan. My husband finished his master's in vocal performance, and then we moved to Germany. And the cold in Michigan, oh, the cold that hurts.
yes.
Oh, I do not like that at all.
No.
Um, but the cold that you felt in Germany was also very intense, and it just went through your clothes because it was so humid. So it's a different kind of cold, but it's still, yeah, you feel it. You don't have the snow. Snow was very rare. Everything got closed up and canceled school and everything. When we got snow, because
Sure.
nobody knew what to do with it. So
So during this time, you're probably styling your home and into decor, but you're not necessarily working in the field, right?
right,
Okay.
right. And you know what? I did not know how much I liked it until I kind of was forced to do it because while we moved there, it was very hard to find an apartment that was big enough for all of us. So you have your average, family there is, they have one, maybe two children,
Hmm.
so the apartments are very small, and we had three children. We knew that maybe we'll have one more, but we wanted space, for them, and it was so hard to find an apartment that was big enough for all of us. So what we ended up doing was we rented two apartments that were together right next to each other, and there was like a wall that we were able to take down. And so
Wow,
it
really?
turned, yes, it turned into one apartment, but they were being rented before us as two separate,
Two separate.
units.
Wow.
So,
Because during
and
the time that you're there, you have three more babies? Three more babies. Okay.
yes.
And is this what you wanted as a big family? You grew up in one, so that seemed.
So I don't know that I thought about it as like this is what I want or this is what I don't want. I knew that I wanted to have a family. I knew that I wanted to have children. I don't think I had a number on it. But we definitely thought we were done after Marco, which is our third. I gave everything away, all the baby gear, everything that you can think of,
Hmm.
and then three more came and just came.
Just came.
But I know, I mean, they were just so, uh, I mean, literally heaven sent, each one of them.
Yes.
And surprise or not surprise, uh, it, yeah, it was amazing. Like that thing that you didn't know you needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Uh,
But oh, sorry. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead. Finish
Well,
your thought.
I was going to say that when we moved into the apartment, there were so many things that needed to get done, and we didn't have the money to do it. So we had to do it ourselves or wait, and we didn't know how long it was going to take us. And I just really wanted new carpet. I have babies, and they were crawling, and I just felt kind of like at least that a lot of the walls over there have wallpaper, and so I learned how to, yeah, put wallpaper up. We changed all the carpet. We put new carpet. We, you know, I was given. Um, well, okay. So what happened? Sorry, I totally remember something. What happened was that we had a friend that came in and said to us, "I have a neighbor that passed away, and his family is trying to get rid of, you know, all the stuff that is inside of his apartment. You want to come look at it?" And we're like, oh, yeah, sure. And so I look at my husband and I'm like, okay, maybe we can take, I don't know, a couple of things that we had just moved there, and we were just starting.
Mhm.
It was tight. It
Yeah,
was really tight.
sure.
And so we go into the into the apartment, and they're all like, he was an older guy, but he had like the bed was this bed that like the feet go up and the head, and all
Wow.
this fancy stuff. It was a big one, and there was a like a dishwasher, and there was a refrigerator, and there was, because you moved with all this. Every time you move in Germany, you move your refrigerator, your stove, you move your light fixtures, you move your cabinets with you. You don't, that doesn't come with the house.
Wow.
And so, and we're like looking at all this stuff, and it's all very nice, but like, maybe I'll take the utensils. I was just like, we need those. and and then this friend of ours says, well, he was talking to the family member that was showing us the apartment, and so we couldn't understand what they were saying. We were like there for like maybe 2 weeks. We have been in Germany, and he turns to us and he's like, she says that if you take it all, you it you can take it all. If you take it all, she will give it to you. It'll be all for free. And we're like, wait, what? But you have to take it all. And we're like, I mean, seriously, I think I went outside and I started crying because I wasn't afraid of the work. I was going to do it. I just felt so overwhelmed and so just grateful
What a
that the person,
blessing. Yeah.
yes, and that person was put in our way. I mean, literally, put in our way. And uh, what a start.
What a
What a
start.
start.
Yes.
So what I did is like I reupholstered the
I was
chairs.
going to say, but maybe is not your style. So
It
now you have to
wasn't.
take these things and make them your own, kind of.
Right. It wasn't my style. But at that, I was not. I was just grateful to have a table, chairs that we can sit on, a couch. I put like blankets on top of it. I painted the chairs. I reupholstered them. I put wallpaper on the walls. I had another, friend come and show me how to do it, and we started just kind of making it our own, our own little just piece of like, heaven in a
Yes.
in a
Yes.
way, our own little island there in the middle of. You kind of create that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, that's what I love home decor so much, because I think that's a way of creating your own island or your place, not to
Place.
separate yourself from others, but to actually come together and
Absolutely.
be with each other. So that's when I started thinking, oh, I kind of like this. This is fun. It was necessity, but that kind of got me started.
Is there a point where you realize you're good at this? You know that, right? You know now that you're really good at that. But did you know it then? Like, I really have a talent for this, or whatever you want to call
Well, thank you first and foremost.
it.
It has taken me a while. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest. It's
Yeah.
taken me a
Yeah.
while to just let go of all my perfectionist, tendencies, and 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 realize. I told my daughter like a couple of weeks ago. I said, you know what? I said, you know what, Lucia? I was born to make things beautiful. And you know what?
Good
I
for
I
you.
felt it. You know what
Good
I
for
mean?
you.
It surprised me to hear myself say that, because I am so critical, and sometimes I just let that get in the way of like, I can do this. I can do
Yes.
this. I don't have to think about it so much. I just have to
Yes.
just start and go with
Just
it, right?
start. Let it flow. Let the energy
Exactly.
flow, the creativity.
Exactly. And it does. And it does. I mean, I get going, I'm just like, I can do this. It's always at the beginning, but I think I had a lot of people come and say, "Wow, you did that?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can." I thought that people could. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It's like when I see something, I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. It's always in my head. I wonder if I
Hmm.
could do that.
Hmm.
So I thought that most people felt like that.
Yeah.
Like I thought so. So I mean, I kind of took it for granted, and then I had people come and say, "Well, you did that? You did this? Or where'd you get that?" I'm like, "Oh no, Nathan built it. Oh, I didn't know. Oh," and that's sort of like our business kind of started. It got started that way.
Not
Um,
until you get back to the States, though.
but that
Correct?
doesn't happen until we got back to the States. Yes,
And
and
a lot happens in between.
so much, so much.
And some
Those
stuff
were
that, again, back to the butterfly effect, right? Like that sets your path in this different direction.
yes. What I found out, and we always talk about this with my husband. Um, we always think that we are making this decision because this is what's going to happen. This is the outcome that is going to happen. I mean, and not to say it's going to be great or bad, no, but we're doing this because we're going to apply to this school because we want to go there, we want to live there. But then it turns out to be something completely different, as in like this was not what I had planned, yet it's working and it's making me look at life from a completely different angle. And the adjustment takes time and it can be really hard, because you're focused and you project, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, okay, well, I guess we're going this way. All right, let's see what's over here. And so we thought we went there for his career, and it ended up being something that it went beyond that. Do you know what I mean? Yes, we were there for so he could build his career and he can be singing, and he did. But we were actually there for all of us, for all the people that we met, for all the people that helped us through the very, very hard things that we went through while we were there, and for our children to have that opportunity to just see things from a different perspective. And there are people out there that are different. It's okay. And guess what? Just like your mom is different, because my kids, that's what they grew up with.
Right.
Um, then and there's
I
other
can
things that
very much relate to that. We get moved different places for certain reasons, and really, that's never the reason that we're there, the purpose of the
right?
reason that we're there. The reason might be because there's a local military base, let's say, but
Yes.
that's not the purpose for us, for the move or the
Hmm.
growth or that that portion of the path, the journey that we're on, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's the define that's what makes you, I mean, or leads you to the decision, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then
That's like the logical part, right? That's like what gets you to say yes, is like the logic.
yes,
And then all the
yes.
other stuff comes with
That
it. Yes, I
that's
agree.
what makes you feel like, oh, I can choose things. I have control over things.
Right.
Yes, I
Yes.
have control over
Yeah.
things. And then you realize that there's a lot of things that you can't control.
Sure.
Um, but the things that you can are the most important ones. That's why I always tell the kids, those
Say it
are
again. I like that. Say that again.
so we don't have control over a lot of things. If I mean we don't have control of many things at all, but the things that we do have control over are the things that matter the most.
I
Are the things that yeah,
I say to my kids the things that we have control over are the free things, right? Like how well you take care of your body
yes,
or how much you move your
yes,
body or how like
yes,
the free things in life are really some of the things that we have the most
hmm
control over and really are the most important ultimately. Like our mindset or perspective or how we're gonna,
yes.
yes,
Hmm. How we look at
the
things that
things that are
happen to
free.
us. Yeah, three things. Things that come to you, right? So those are things
Yes.
that kind of come to you that you don't make them necessarily happen. But then there's other things that just happen that is not you in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's just things that just happen and they're part of life. And yeah, and in those times, those moments, you can fear it can be very, very scary. So scary to be in that situation. Um,
So
uh,
you're, I
yeah.
don't know how many miles away, so I'll say a million miles away from your family. You have now four children. You have your fifth, Mateo. A-
Mateo, yes,
And
yes.
he lives, is it 1 week?
5 weeks and three
Oh,
days.
5 weeks. 5 weeks, three
Yes.
days.
5 weeks and 3 days. And he passed away. He dies of
Completely unexpectedly, that you were not in any way prepared for that.
yes. He died of SIDS and sudden infant death syndrome. And I didn't even know. I think I had read it in one of those pregnancy books. You know what I mean? I did not even know exactly what it was. Um, eh, the thing is that interesting and thing is that my husband lost a brother to SIDS too, and so we we kind of were very, very, that was very present in our minds with our first, second, and third. And then you relax, right? You're like, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. He's our fifth child. It's like, I got this. I know this. And so there's never a right time to lose a child, right? Um, it's just that um, I remember feeling very, very like I had someone came into my house in the middle of the night and took something from me, and there's nothing I could do about it. It's that feeling of helplessness. It was like
Helpless,
I
yeah.
so helpless, and because it happened so suddenly, he was healthy and he was fine, and um um uh, I mean, waking up, and he really, he was my only baby that didn't need to nurse during the night, but he wanted to sleep with me. He just, I had a little bed right next to our bed,
Hmm.
and I would put him down like, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. And I will wake up like every 2 3 hours, like with my other children,
Sure,
and
sure.
expecting to feed him. And he was like, no, I'm okay. He just needed to be with me, right next to me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I can still sleep. I still was kind of concerned. I was a little bit like, I'm not used to it. So I wanted to have him close.
Hmm.
Um and so when it happened, I was holding him, and I woke up, and Franco was 1.5. They're really close together. So Franco was 1.5, and he woke up to get his. It was the first of the year. So Mateo was born on Thanksgiving Day, and he passed away on New Year's Day. So we
Wow.
have been out. We have been out with friends, and celebrating. We had gone to bed really late. um, so we woke up kind of late. It was Sunday, and Franco comes to get his bottle. He was like, lechita, lechita, his little milk.
Hmm. Hmm.
and and that's when I was holding him. That's when my husband saw it. He he said to me, Mateo, and he looked, and I was holding him on the side, and then I moved him. I just, you're waking up. I'm like, I don't even know what day it is. I'm just kind of like, and I put him on my other side, and his arm were like this. And it doesn't register, right? It doesn't, your brain cannot catch up with what is happening. It's impossible. I think you would just not make it if you did feel the full force and understanding of what's happening. But so I think your brain tries to protect you and feeds you little bits and pieces and creates also alternatives like, this is a dream. This is not real, things like that. So you can actually process what's happening. At that, right when it happened, I mean, I was just like, I mean, eh, so my husband was the one that grabbed him and was doing CPR and call the paramedics. And like, because it was happening, it was kind of like alarming, of course, but you're not understanding. Babies sleep very deep. And I just remember, my husband doing CPR, and then I took over, and then he was calling the paramedics, and I remember thinking, uh, what is
Yeah,
happening?
there's
And I,
no way this is actually happening. I've got to be wrong.
yes, and I remember kind of like I had this like I kind of left my body because I saw myself from the top as I was holding him, kind of like I was watching myself go through it, whatever you want to call that, and paramedics, it seemed like it took forever, but we were literally 2 minutes away from the fire, station. And I remember seeing them walk in, and I was like, they're little kids. They were like, what, 20? I'm like, what do they know? What do they know? How are they going to help me with this? You know? And I just remember I was still sitting in bed. I didn't even, have moved. And I just handed my baby to them. And I wanted to follow them. And they said, no, we're going to go into the living room and we're going to work on him. I mean, they didn't say, they said no. And I was like, but this is my baby. You're taking my baby. Uh, and I just remember thinking, I was just remember saying to myself, no, 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 no. I wasn't crying again, the shock, but I knew at that moment that he was gone, like that there was nothing that they could do, that he was gone. Hoping, yes,
Sure.
that they could do something. And and things work very differently over there in situations like this. Probably over here, he would have been flown to the hospital, and put on life support, and then waited for us to get there and make the decision of like, what do we do now? Things are different over there. They handle, things differently. And I just remember the kids waking up and not understanding what was happening.
How old are they? How
So
old's the oldest?
Julian is 13. Lucas was 10, and Marco was 8, and Marco was 8. And it, I just remember people in the house. After that, I don't remember much. After that, I remember seeing people that were far away. I could hear voices, all their voices, but everything was happening was really far. And I was kind of like, just days. I don't remember much of what happened after that. But I remember a couple of months before um, he, um, he was born, I was just looking at stuff online, and I came across this website of this organization that, the photographers that donate their time and services to parents
Mm.
that lose their children. It's called Now I Lay You Down to Sleep. And I remember thinking, oh, who would want a picture of the child after they passed away? I seriously, that was my honest thought. And then went into the website and I saw those pictures, and I was like, oh, because I could see the pain in the parents' faces. And, you know, babies that were stillborn, that they don't, they look very different. And babies after they pass away, they look different. You
Sure.
know, they don't look like your baby anymore. And but I found it beautiful. And I think I was so glad that I came across that, because I told one of my friends, I had called, friends. Again, I don't remember, but I did. And the house was full of people, the police and the paramedics, and then friends. And there was a priest because that's what they do in cases like this in Germany. And they bring a priest. And I was like, uh, and then I'm thinking, I want a picture. I want pictures of me and him. And my friend looked at me like, and I was like, I just do. And those pictures were so important to me
Mm.
because I could not look at pictures of him in my life um, in the weeks and months following, you know, his passing. And that that helped me. It was kind of like training my brain without really punishing myself that this is what has happened. And I didn't leave.
Training your brain without punishing yourself. That is, that's amazing. That is truly amazing that you were able to do that in that moment. Training your brain without punishing yourself. But there's a part of you, I'm sure, that is punishing yourself in these weeks,
Oh,
right?
oh gosh. Then you go into what if I had done this, said this, taken him here, had done this, spent more time. I I just yes. And I remember one day it was really bad. And I had actually allowed my head to go there and stay there way too long. And I started looking at because the first thing that I said when the paramedics brought him back to me, I said, "Did I do it? Did I do it?" I said, I was tired. And they said, no, no. They said there are signs, there are clear signs of when asphyxia happens and where there's suffocation, there's other, factors. And I I just remember thinking, I remember looking online and looking at the signs and looking, and my husband said, "You can't do that."
Were you able to believe them in that moment? Yes.
Yes, yeah. I, I knew where that was going to take me. I just, I saw very clear in my head this path that divided in front of me. And one way was, I'm just gonna lose it. I'm gonna go cuckoo here. I don't care about anything else. Like seriously, I just wanted to be in this I didn't care. I didn't care. I remember going outside and looking at people and feeling very envious of how careless they walked and they just. I'm like, yesterday I was worried about what I was going to fix for dinner or how we were gonna pay for this and for that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. It's like I would give all that up just to go back to the way, I mean, the way it was. So I just remember like my life ahead, and that one path was like, just let it go crazy.
Right?
Seriously, you feel like you're going to lose your mind. Or in the other path, I saw my kids. I saw my kids that were alive, and I saw the pain. And
Yeah, they're
now,
also grieving.
yes, and my husband, and 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 it was a hard choice, but it was a choice that I made. to go in that direction and to just choose them, choose life. Yes, he's not with us anymore. And this is going to just, this is never going to, things are never going to be the same. But this is my life now, and they are here. And I remember thinking, I felt like I had a very, very long hallway in front of me, and it was full of windows and doors, and that was his life. And I literally saw it. And I remember thinking, I wish I could just send someone to close all those windows and doors. I knew that I couldn't. I knew that it was my job to go and do it manually and just shut each and every one. And feeling like a little bit of me was just dying with each door and each window that I had to close. You never think this is gonna happen to you. I always thought that happened to strong people. How come it's happening to me? You know, it's like I remember thinking, I am part of this club that I never wanted to be, and I did not choose to be in it, yet I am paying for this membership dearly. And I really felt, yeah, this just helplessness was just, it just took over. But I guess was one of the biggest things that I realized was I didn't know how many degrees of pain a human being could feel. You know, we talk about a lot of pain. We took a little bit of pain. You know, you go to the doctor and they show you the chart and this face.
Scale of 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you in, right?
How about 2000? And it's not
Yes.
on that chart. And you cannot show me a chart because it doesn't exist.
Right.
because it really doesn't. And everybody's experience is different. But I just remember thinking, wow. And it also surprised me how physical it got. The pain felt so physical. I mean, it was in literally the whole, you know, you hear songs and poems and things that people write, and you hear about the hole in your heart, and kind of like almost you feel almost like air is going through it. It's literally, you feel this space that is missing something.
Vacuum. People talk about it like a vacuum. Just
Yes.
gets.
This void, right? It's like,
Hmm.
and nothing is really going in it, because what is supposed to go in it is the person that you lost, right?
Hmm.
In my case, it was him.
Hmm.
It was him. You know, he
Hmm.
was supposed to fill it up, and he's gone. Now, I mean, when everything was done and we had taken the pictures and they gave us a few minutes to be with him, and they took him, uh, that was that was brutal, because that's what I learned, that, you know, he wasn't my baby anymore. You know, I have no say in what happens to him, nothing. And they just took him. And I remember asking them, can I please put his blanket over him? Because they had covered him in a white sheet. And I was afraid that he wasn't going to be able to breathe. So, anyways, I put his blanket, and they were so sweet. I mean, they did. They removed the sheet, but I guess by law, I found out later that that's what they have to do over there. And they just removed the sheet and they put the blanket that I had made for him, and he was gone. He was gone, just like that. And yeah, that leaves you in a state of shock that it's just undescribable. I don't think you're ever prepared. Even when you hear people say, "Well, that person was sick or had this," you still are not prepared for the absence, the actual absence, and the space that a person takes. And I believe it's not just the body, it's the spirit that makes it together, it makes a person.
Sure. Sure.
And it's a presence, it's energy, it's the love, it's everything that you feel towards your baby, and what you feel back, you know and that's not there. So you're you're never prepared for that. It's not something that you can, yeah, be ready for. um i just I remember looking at Juliana, Lucas, and Marco, and thinking, um I I'm still their mom. They're here, you know
Hmm.
and um it's hard to be able to explain that to them. Mom, what? I know you're sad, or what, Mom, what, you're so sad, or but Mom, don't cry, Mom. I never believed in just hiding my emotions from them or anything like that, and so I did have my moments when I had to go into a bedroom and just like lose it, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, I- but I just remember thinking, they need me. And now that didn't mean that I was going to forget my pain or not take care of myself. It meant that I need a little bit of time to be there for them, present for them, right?
Hmm.
In the best
Hmm.
way possible, which is, it's very, short, and it's, yeah, you need a lot of help. But I remember thinking, okay, just a few minutes, just a few minutes, just a few minutes. Um, I couldn't, even picture.
It's truly a few minutes at a time versus, like people say, take it one day at a time. You can't even get through a whole day. It's truly minutes
Uh,
at a time.
it's so true. It's so true. And you can't plan ahead. I remember when we were planning his service, and it was just like, uh, what kind of songs you want, and I'm like, I, I don't know. I, I have no
Yeah, are
idea,
you supposed
you
to
know.
have an answer for that?
But
How do?
then,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, but then, you do wanna. Everybody's different, but I didn't know that I was going to need to take part in all of those decisions. That they were going later. That was going to be the things that I did, the last things that I did for him,
Sure.
and that was
Sure.
going to be so comforting. I didn't know that. That's just how it ended up being. But in the moment, I'm like, why are you asking me that? I don't know. Now, we knew that we didn't want, when they took him after that, and they said, that they were going to do an autopsy, and they were going to, again, your brain is not, has not caught up with what just happened. And so I'm like, no, you don't touch him. You don't, what? My first thought, no, 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 don't touch him. No. And then, well, but we're going to do it. And do you want to see him before the autopsy or after? And I remember I talked to my mother-in-law that had gone through this. And she's like, it's your decision, but I would go I would go before, if I were you. And I
Hmm.
was so glad that we did, because we were able to, because everything happened so fast, and we were able to go and see him, and the kids picked an outfit for him, and we had a couple of toys that we had in there, and it was all very symbolic because after that they were going to take him away and do the autopsy. But it was such an important, like it was our goodbye, and that
Hmm.
was, so. And I remember he was there. We walked into the room, and things are very different over there. The way they do things, the way they handle, a body. Uh, uh, we went in there, Nathan and I first. The kids stayed aside. We had friends there, of course, and we wanted just to be the first ones. And he was all wrapped in a blanket. We couldn't see him, and my husband starts from one side, and I start from the other, and there it is, and he's just looking fine to me, and I'm like, oh, it's my baby. And then I go to pick him up, and he was ice cold, and I'm like, and again, this is just shock your brain goes to. But it was so, in that moment, I could see that he wasn't there anymore. It was the little shell of him, you
Yeah.
know. It was a little shell that I never expected, that because I had not dealt with death so close, before, and so I, I didn't know. I had never seen a person, after they, passed away. I didn't know what to expect, what they looked like. And you see movies and you see things like that, but it was so clear to me that he wasn't there anymore. That that was it, the little shell of him. Yeah,
Hmm.
but that he wasn't there anymore. But
Do you feel him
after that, it
around
was,
you? Do you feel him sometimes?
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's been an amazing experience, and when I say that, I mean it. I really mean it. To be able um to know, to know, I know that he's around.
Hmm.
I know it. It's very special. Yeah, I don't, and he's not a baby. He's a man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and it was, yeah, to me that was also, that really helped me, you know. I just remember hearing him crying in the middle of the night, and thinking, well, then I had to start pumping because I was nursing him, right, and I had to do that, and all these things that come after that you just have to deal with, you know. And I remember thinking it's cold, and this and that, but having these experiences with him, then, where, oh, he's okay, and I
Yeah.
knew it, like I knew it. I didn't think it. And in those moments, everything stood still and everything was fine. Like I didn't feel pain, which was very, like, seconds. Okay. And then,
Second.
and
Yeah.
which they were a gift.
Sure.
They were truly a gift. So, it, it, we started talking about death with the kids. We had to, right? You have to.
Right. Hmm.
And what happens, and we believe, we believe that we'll see him again, that I'll be reunited with him.
Hmm.
I i i believe that, um and so that brings a lot of comfort. Nonetheless, you still go through the separation. That's just part of this life, right?
Sure.
um but talking to the kids was, you know the kids are resilient, but you don't want them to be, or you don't want them to have to be.
Have to be. Yes. Yes.
And takes
What did
away
you
from,
do? Sorry.
no,
Um, what did you learn about the community that now you're, like you say, you are having to pay the price to be in this club that you didn't want to be in? Is it,
that's
what did you learn about
that's
this? The
a good way to put it, Danielle. That
Yeah,
you had to pay the price to be, unwillingly.
unwilling. devastatingly.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. I feel this instant connection to people that have gone through loss. Um,
True.
it's almost like finding this old friend that you haven't seen in a while, and you're like, ah, there you are. Oh, but you're like, but I don't know anything about you.
Right.
But there is a connection that goes beyond all that. That when you look at someone's, especially a mom, that's not to say that dads don't experience the same amount of pain. I remember my husband saying, I feel so bad. I feel so bad, especially for you. I'm like, he was half mine and half yours.
Yeah.
We're sharing this.
Mm-hmm.
We are sharing this the pain, right? But I just remember looking into their eyes. A lot of people just said that I didn't even know. Now, granted, people are not very open. In Germany, it's not a culture that they open so easily to you. When you become friends, um, you have friends for life.
Mm-hmm.
They're super loyal, and I love my friends. The friends that I made over there, I love them. It's like we'll forever be friends. But I found out, oh yes, I lost a child. Oh yes, I had a baby. Then I was like, I didn't even know it. I'm like, how can you not talk about it? Right? And
Did
I,
they give you an answer? Did did they have a reason that people choose not to talk about it?
not directly, not directly. I can see, having been through that experience over there, and then having uh, moved back here to the States, and I saw my friend go through it, and how um, the community around her. Now, granted, that's her friends and family and people that she knows, but in general, people are more open here and more able, willing, have the tools. I'm not sure, to talk about things like this that are super hard. And so I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, because when that happened to us, and then we came here to the States, and we came here to the States uh, to bury him. So Nathan's family were just amazing, and they were able to fly us all here, and he was buried here. And I knew that we didn't want, we're not going to stay there. So, but then I had to go back, and then I had to go back to the same house,
Yes.
away from family and friends. So I noticed that people avoided me, and they I know they didn't know what to say. Um, I know they didn't know how to react. I know it, because I would have felt exactly the same way. So, um,
So there's a bit of a stigma too, right? There's
yes, yeah, and most definitely, you know what? I always say, we should write a book about what not to say to the grieving, to a grieving parent, and what to say to a grieving parent. Because I've had some, people with very, very good intentions say things that just, nothing can make it worse, because the worst happened, but it not helpful. But I have to say, it's just people avoiding, not talking. What I found out is that I wanted to talk about him. I wanted to say his name out loud. I wanted to. Uh, it did happen. He was here. I promise. I was going to be like, he was here. I promise.
right,
Very, very
right,
short time, but he
right.
did. It's like I was losing the evidence, and so
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, and it was good, and it helped me. What I found is that I ended up actually consoling people. Like, if I would find them at the store, and I just didn't want to fall apart, because I knew that it took me a while, that I need to get home, and then the kids. So it's okay. I will be like, thank you, it's okay. It's And then I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
but but people are grieving with you, and they're feeling it their own way, but so so eh, the way I saw it was this: every person that came to me to say I'm sorry, I was leaving a little bit of my this weight of sadness. And I remember picturing putting a little bit of that, and I remember them walking away, and I was thinking, they can take that. It's just a little bit. And then on to the next person. I just, that really, that made a huge difference.
Yes.
Um, and this sometimes people without even knowing, people without even knowing what to say, the fact that you're there, you are there,
Hmm.
um your presence. I had people come and say, do you want me to brush your hair? And I was like, yes. you know just being there, like, as in, like, just sit there with me.
Just sit there with you. Yeah.
So and you don't have to, this is the thing, you don't have to know what to say, and you don't have to say anything. There are things that you can do, that are more like, especially, if you have a mom that has kids, the more practical things, how can you be most helpful,
Yeah.
in that situation. But I think just be there, bring it up, talk about it. Don't be afraid. You're not going to make it worse. It is already as bad as it gets. You're not reminding me of anything, because I will never forget. And when you talk to me about him, you are validating his life and my whole
Yes.
experience. And it's there's comfort in that. Does it change anything? Nothing at all. But there is something that you get in return. And it's so powerful. I could not have done it without the help of all the people around me. I could not. And I also believe that it was also my belief that I will see him again, and
Hmm.
that we will be reunited. And so, yeah, that's just like, the thought of it is just like, it's like my
Yes.
chest will float,
Yes.
you know. But
For a split second, that void can be filled with that thought, right?
yes.
So does this change you? I mean, it changes you in every way, I'm sure, but how are you as a parent? Are you like, does it kind of completely change the way you parent? And
Oh,
you chose or were blessed with a baby after him too. So
yes.
are you are you like just filled with anxiety, or can you just be present with that baby in the moment?
Well, I was very conscious. I did not want to. And we talked about it with my husband. I don't. I didn't want to bring another life into this world with a mission to fulfill my
Right,
needs.
right,
They
right.
already, they already are their own person, and they have their own mission. And
Hmm.
I wasn't fair. I was
Hmm.
very, very conscious of that. Fears, insecurities, yeah, it would all come back to you. It's just it's impossible not to. You are human, and you're like, your body's like this memory foam. It has like this memory foam effect, and PTSD is a real thing. And it's just, you have to just work through the stages. So uh, at the first few weeks, I had to have them all in my bedroom, sleeping right next to me, naturally. uh, as time went by, and I just, you start processing what just happened, and go through, if you want to call it stages. I don't think there's really stages. I think it's very personal. The whole process of grieving is very personal, and there's
And
not an order.
cyclical, and
It's,
cyclical, just because you're gonna cycle back around to the
yes,
same thoughts and emotions and quote stages, if you want to call them that,
right.
but it's
and
very
and it's
cyclical.
very, very, and there's your circumstances, where were you when that happened to you, you know how were you? What are the tools that you had? And did you have any tools?
Mhm.
So all of that comes into play. So, but I do feel like, yes, like I said before, it's a clear before and after, and the after became very intentional to me. That was the time when I started thinking, you know I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in Germany anymore. And I was like, Nathan, we need to move back. And it was nothing. It was just like I had just realized that. I mean, I haven't been really, happy. You are doing what you want, but he was not exactly doing exactly what he wanted. So we were both kind of like, well, we're going and with the flow, and sort of like, life is happening. And then from that moment on, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Uh-uh.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now I get to choose this. I get to
Yes.
choose, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that moment was like, okay. And so that's kind of like the way we felt with, you know, having another baby. And yes, of course, I mean, I have to go through the 5 weeks and 3 days that he lived with Lucia. I watched her so closely. And after that time when I was like,
Yeah.
and I remember the kids telling me, Mom, what if this baby dies?
Mhm.
And what are you going to say? What are you going to say?
Yeah.
No, no, it, it just did happen to us.
Yes.
So I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what do I say? What do I say to them? What is the right answer? Is it a right answer? And then I thought, we'll enjoy this baby for as long as she's with us. And that's what we did. And she's just like injected this, like, Lucia's super intense, and she's injected this kind of life back in a way that is not replacing one thing, but in her own way, you
Sure.
know? And yes, it felt like being a parent all over again for the first time,
I bet.
which is kind of a gift when you think about
Yes.
it.
True. Very true.
Yeah,
That is a gift.
it's a gift. So it has been an experience that amazing. And I always tell her, because we were done after Mateo, but I always tell her that Mateo came and he made this little room right there for you, made the little space, and then he left, and then you came right in, and he's perfectly come into our family.
How far apart are they?
Let's see. I will say a year and a half.
Wow.
So very close.
Very
Yes,
close. Wow.
very, very, very close. Um, and that's when we kind of like things started changing. I could feel the life, shifting, and the need to pay attention to what I wanted. Purpose. What do we want? Do we want this? Do we actually want this? No. Okay,
Right.
then we're not going to do it. you know,
Right.
the whole like, well, we should do this because why? No,
Right.
you
Sure.
want to do it, and then I that's when we kind of like started working our way back here into our way back to coming back to the States. And it was super important that the kids will have their cousins and their aunts and uncles and grandparents, you know and I feel also like um I needed that. I needed all that support and all of that. And so what was it, 2.5 years after um is when we moved back. And it's been a journey because it's been kind of crazy to learn how my husband's career works here is very different than
Sure.
in Europe,
Sure.
and opportunities and pay.
Pay.
you know
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, those are things that you just you know
Right.
Just the unsexy things that you talk about. Because when people say, "Oh,
Sure.
your husband's an opera singer," and I'm like, "Yeah, oh my God." I'm like, "Well, wait a minute, okay."
Right. Right. Right.
um, but it's just Europe is Europe, and you have a lot of opportunities, and there's so much culture there, and it's just so rich, and uh, I miss a lot of the things that we were able to do over there, and but coming here brings a different kind of you know safety and experience, and it's been extremely hard but amazing. And it wasn't until I got back here that I actually started like, oh, I'm kind of good at this. Hmm.
You
I'm
are
good at
very
that.
good at this. You are very good at this. You're also a wordsmith. I think you have a very unique, not just perspective, but ability to put words to your feelings. I don't know if you know that about yourself, but you say things in a way that really, at least for me, really resonate in a way that I couldn't even. Yeah, you're a
Oh,
beautiful wordsmith too.
oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm
Um,
sure that probably feels foreign to you, especially the languages and different, right? Different ways to say things, but I
yeah,
think you
oh
say
my
things
God.
beautifully. You put things very
Yes.
beautifully.
You nailed it, Danielle. I didn't know it until now that you said that. It is the fact that I've learned to speak and talk about all my emotions, not in my mother tongue. You know what I mean?
Sure.
All these things happen to me outside of my country, outside of all all that I knew. And so you're right. It still there's yeah, there's a part of me that doesn't connect to that completely, even though you know
Two, it
I
feels like you choose your words as intentionally
yes.
as you like that you're speaking about with the living your
Mm-hmm,
life with intentions. I think you choose your
mm-hmm,
words really intentionally too. So
mm-hmm.
congratulations, because that is tough to do, is to put your emotions to any words, let alone being able to choose intentional words and use words kind of the we say in our house, words mean things. Like try to use the right word that means the thing, but you do that beautifully.
I like that, Danielle. Words mean things, and it's like, oh yeah, they do. One of our Franco, one of our sons, he's on the spectrum, and he will say to me, "Of course they do, Mom." He's
I
so
have one on the
literal.
spectrum as well. I have one on the spectrum, so
Yeah,
I understand that
you
sort of
understand, right?
direct approach.
Of course they do. But it is when you think about it, and just talking. It's so important, like what you said, talking to them that way. It's just not just talking. It gets them thinking and looking at things differently. And I like that. I like that a lot. Um,
I'm proud
it's fun.
for you too, because you have chosen to know how you feel about things versus just surviving it. Because that would have been an option too. You could have just survived this, not gone down the cuckoo path, but also not chosen presence. You
Yes.
could have just white knuckled it and just been present, and that would have been a way. And I think I'm very proud for you that you really chose to be in this. Like you said, you maybe wouldn't even change it, even though it's. I mean, hopefully, the most grief you ever have to experience.
Right. Right.
But but
Yes.
I bet you chose to 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 live it, to actually live it.
Um, and I have to say, very tempting to go the other way. It's so tempting, and so it seems like easy. Uh, but I had I left the kids with a friend, and when I came back, she said that our daughter, just weeks after it happened, said to her, "I want, I want my mom back. I want my mom to laugh again and to be like dancing with us and doing all these things." And granted, she was just 13. She just, it will change you forever. You will never be the same person. But I understood what she meant. And I did not want to take that away from her. And
Yeah,
that
they didn't deserve you to lose you too. I mean, they have
exactly.
lost a lot enough in that
Yes.
experience that they didn't deserve to lose you too, or their dad too. That would have been an option for him.
Yeah, and these are all things that as you go through them, right? You go through life. You just, you experience things, you deal with it, you learn. You're like, oh, that wasn't so good. Well, let's do that again, or whatever. I mean, you don't realize it that you're modeling something, right? You are showing your kids how it's done. The so is tomorrow, I always say.
Hmm.
So we can always do things better. We
Hmm.
need a redo. I
Hmm.
always say, we need a redo.
Hmm.
Let's do that again.
Hmm.
Right? And so that's great. But it's like I was very aware that I was modeling this. And guess what? I told the kids, the moment that we're born, that's the moment that we can die. You realize that we are born so we can die in a way. It's like it will happen. And I choose to talk to the kids. We're very open. I come from a culture where death, you don't say that. It's like it's very taboo.
Hmm.
And you don't even mention that. Oh, don't bring it. I'm like, you know, don't just bring it up on yourself. Don't talk about it. Oh, no, that's awful. No, I believe right now that you should talk about it. You should. It's not that you prepare for the worst, but this is part of life, and part of life is has all these little aspects of it. And to me, like making the house beautiful, for example, is something that came learning to make my space, my sanctuary, came after Mateo passed away.
Hmm.
I started drawing. I found that that was a way for me to just let go of a lot of things. I didn't never intended to share it. I just remember opening Facebook and I had sent it to my sister. My sister was like, "Oh, look at the beautiful picture that my sister made," and I was like, I'm like, I'm freaking out. But then I was like, but then the response was so amazing, and I was like, oh, okay. It really helped you. And I had a lot of people say that helped me. And so I was like, oh, okay, I have to share this. I have to share this. And learning to make things beautiful, which reflects on what I do in the house and how I do my displays and all of that, is something that I didn't know that I was good at. I'm completely honest with you. Okay. I did not know it, and I'm learning as I go. And sometimes I look at things, I'm like, oh, that's good. but
Good for
but
you. Good for you.
but
I'm so
from
happy
that
to
place,
hear someone be proud of themselves and not hypercritical or yes, absolutely. Good for you,
I
Gio.
I think we all experience that. We all have that voice. Probably right after that, but, hmm, and then you just like, you quiet yourself. You make it quiet. You really choose. You really choose. I mean, choice is so important. We are given, you know, the
It's
opportunity
those
to
free things that you can control. It's those.
the free things. Exactly. It's all in my head. It's all in my head. I love that. I go to someone's house and I'm like, I don't walk into your house and look like
Criticize. Yeah,
I
yeah.
shouldn't be there.
Mm,
That color. I don't do that.
mm,
But if you're gonna
mm.
ask me, if you're gonna say, would you help me with that? And not personal, okay?
Yes, yes.
Yes, and I can say, well, what do you want? What do you want to create? You want the space. You want the space to be like that. What do you want to feel when you walk into this room?
Hmm.
And that's kind of like I've been doing on the side. Uh, like
Yeah,
and I don't, yes,
good for
I don't have
you.
any tax or anything, but I found so much. I found this strong connection with other women, and I found so many women apologizing for what their house looks like or what it should look like or because it doesn't look like this. Or I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want to sit down and read all day? That's great. Then have a very nice, comfortable couch. Can be really stylish, but
Yeah, yeah, yes.
and have your stacks of books there. That's your life. That's the life that you want. Walking into your home and feeling, oh, I love my home. I love it because it feels that way. It's amazing, and yeah, I've been doing that on the side. Yeah,
Good for
that's what I.
you. That's awesome. I feel too like I'm supposed to talk to you this week because earlier in this week I had kind of the opposite happen where we had like the real estate team, like the stagers or whatever, came in
Oh,
to our house because we're listing, right? And it's the opposite of that. It's like clean all this out. You don't want it to be your feeling of this. People need to like fill the space with their own feeling,
hmm
right?
hmm
Like but I had to do that when they came in. They're like, first off, everything's beautiful. So like don't take it personally. It's like, you don't need to tell me what I already know. Like I already love these things. So whether like I feel like it's beautiful. You don't tell me what I already know. Tell me what like I'm supposed to know, right? Like tell me it was
yes.
but I had never been in that position. I'd never had a team like come
Oh,
in my house for anything really. And
that's
of course, like most of us that are collectors, we have lots of stuff. But for me, it was like pull all this down, take these down, less of this, less of that, whatever. And I was just like,
right.
okay, well, and then I kind of did that, and my husband's like comes in and he's like, I think they asked you for less. I was like, there's like 5 bins. Like,
We
this
should be.
is so much less. He's like, I think it's still a bit much. I'm like, too bad. I'm not spending any more time on this. Anyway, yeah, I
Oh,
love that you're doing that though, because I think that you have probably a very unique um, ability to see the beauty in things and then also
thank
know
you.
how they make you feel or that you feel about them. I, that seems like a perfect fit to me, just in the hour and a few minutes that we've talked. Like that seems like such a perfect fit that you would be fantastic at that.
Oh, thank you. I mean,
And are you
I have held
loving
friends.
it? Are you
I,
loving it?
I love it.
Good,
I love it.
good.
I love it. I mean, and then I had friends. I had my really good friend. This friend that I mentioned before that she also lost her child. We live 3 houses away from each other.
After 17 years of friendship,
Long
you end up,
distance relationship.
wow,
Yes, I know.
you live 3 houses apart.
Yes, and I
Wow.
love it. I love it. And her daughter came to me. She's like, I want to have my party. I want to have my 16th party, but I want to do it at your house. And her mom is like, and but she knows she doesn't mind.
Yeah,
I love her.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, and I
yeah.
was like, of course. And I just putting that together and just sitting there with her. What do you like? Send me pictures of this and this and that. And it's just
You posted some of this, correct? I've seen some of this, have I not, in the last few months?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
stunning.
thank
And
you.
there's a one image of her, and she just looks so proud. She just, doesn't she, in that photo? I hope I'm correct, connecting the right dots
Yes,
here. But
and
there's one photo in particular, and she's there, like with a table
yes,
around her, and and
hmm
she just
yes,
looks so
yes.
like elated,
Oh
lit from
gosh,
within in that moment. That is
that's
what a
beautiful.
gift you gave her.
That's beautiful the way you said it, and that's it. Do you know what?
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
That's why I love doing it. It's like, uh, yeah, and everything, anything can look pretty. Anything can look pretty, and if you have money, you can buy anything you want, and
Hmm.
you can just put it all together. But
Hmm.
how is it gonna make you feel?
Right,
How are
right.
you going to feel with all those things there? That may not be for you. That may be, but like we like more. We like collections. We like in other people it's like, oh, that's too clutter. But I totally get it because when you are showing your home, when you're trying to sell it, you gotta come at it from a completely different angle. You got to completely change your like way of thinking because you want the person to see themselves in your house. So
They also said said to me, we want them to look at the house, like the bones, the structure, the floors, the lighting, the whatever, and not the things. Like you have
Yes.
beautiful things, and if you have too many beautiful things, then that's what they're gonna look at. And I was like, that was the nice spin on.
But no. Well, I do believe though that the house by itself is just a house by itself, and that you feel it. You can fall in love with how you feel when you walk into the house, and you can be the energy from the previous person, or you can be your stuff and what you put in it. So don't take everything down.
I did it. I didn't. I failed 5 bins. I told my husband, I said, they didn't give me a percentage like that I had to take 50% down or something. They just said less. So I did that. I checked the box.
I don't think they know what to collect means for us, because when people are like, "Where do you store all that stuff?" I'm like, "I'm very organized. It's all in my garage. It's all labeled. But how?" It's like, well, that's the way to do it, right? You have to. Otherwise, no,
No,
no, no, no.
no, yeah,
So,
we
anyways,
have should have invested in Rubbermaid, right? Like the
oh
company,
my
because I
gosh,
have so many
yeah.
bins.
Oh my goodness. So, where are you guys going now?
We're going from El Paso to Manhattan, Kansas. Yeah.
Kansas, Manhattan. Okay, where is that?
It's west of Kansas City, about like 90 miles, and it's north of Wichita. So it's on
Okay.
I-70, kind of, yeah, north of Wichita, west of Kansas City, and west of Topeka as
Okay.
well, but
So
kind of
my
southwest of
husband.
Topeka.
Okay. So my husband was born he's from Colorado, and
Mm,
so he's in that like southeast corner, right next to
yeah,
Kansas. So we driven
yeah.
through there, and the kids would always say, "Are we going through Kansas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go back to sleep."
So I've driven from the East Coast, like through Kansas into Colorado that way, and you're leaving. You cannot wait to get out of Kansas because it's so like nothing for so long. The western side of Kansas, and then you can't wait for the Colorado border, and then it's another 200 miles of
My
the same thing before you get to the Rockies. Yeah.
It's contagious. It's moving into the next state. I know. Oh, but I mean,
This
I don't.
particular area, though, is kind of hilly and it's green, which we haven't been used to, right? It's very upper desert here in El Paso, so or high desert, so we don't have much green or much
Oh,
precipitation at all. I think we're like less than 10 inches a year or something in El Paso of rain. So anyway, this is the
yeah.
opposite of that. This is the opposite of that, and so in that way, we like you kind of the adventure is really what you make it. And we really do try not to think so much about what we're going to miss or leave behind as much as what the next, I don't even know if life goes in chapters, but the next chapter will look like,
Right.
right? Like,
Right. What do
so,
you? I always tell the kids, what do you want to make it mean? What do you want to make it mean?
yeah,
Right? What do you want
right.
to make it mean? Because you can make it mean just about anything, you
You,
know.
and if you say it's going to be shitty, sorry for
It
my
will
language,
be.
it's going to be. It's
Yes.
going to be. Yes.
Oh yeah.
If you say this is going to be a terrible day, it's going to be.
Buh. Yes. Yes. Totally. I'm
And
so
and I
excited for
think you
you.
can do the same, the other direction. Sometimes maybe that's a little bit more difficult, but I do think if you say it's going to be a good day, that you can make it that. And
Yes.
those are those three things that I talk to my kids about.
The
The
freebies.
the important things. Yeah.
I
And
love
I
that.
only say free to them because they
Mm,
that works at 5 years old, right?
of
Like you don't
course.
need anything else. It's free. This is truly,
Uh-huh.
you do have the
Mhm.
power already, even at five,
Mhm.
to control these parts.
Right.
That's why I call it free. It's just they're they don't need anybody else to do it for them, or they don't need any of these
Right.
external things. So
Mhm.
anyway,
It comes attached. It's within you. It's like it comes. Yeah, it comes with you. I like it. That's hey, language that they can understand. That's perfect.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I love it. The freebies.
Thank you for
Remember
coming
that?
and sharing this with us.
Oh my gosh.
I feel blessed, truly, that we got to do this, and I believe that people that watch it will too.
Thank you, Danielle. It's been such a roller coaster, and I was like, I'm gonna do it because it's hard. Because it's hard, I'm gonna do it. And then as I was watching, the other conversations that you had, I'm like, but Danielle makes it look all so effortless and just so easy. Oh, I feel right at home. I'll do this. So thank you.
I
Thank you.
I hope that's true. I hope that when people come on here, even though it's hard, this is
Mhm.
a lot of these topics are really uncomfortable. That
Yes.
we as a community, but me as being the face that you're having to tell, that I can do it in a way that offers some grace and some ease that maybe they're not always getting.
True. And you know what? It's possible. It is possible. You can do it. It is a choice. You choose and you can make it beautiful. Anything,
Hmm. Hmm.
anything. You can make it beautiful.
I hope you all have a beautiful day celebrating that baby girl of yours.
Yeah, I gotta go cook something now. Yeah, we will. Thank you so much, Danielle, and good
Thank
luck.
you, thank you,
Your
thank
move.
you, thank you for gracing our screens with all the beauty you're bringing to the world.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
I hope to meet you one day. I think we'll be there in at Labor Day, maybe, or not Labor Day, Memorial Day,
Yes,
maybe.
please.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Call me.
Thanks so much. Okay,
Bye.
bye
Bye,
bye.
Danielle.
The true
Thank
artist.
you.
That's exactly right. You are a
Oh,
true artist.
thank you.
Okay, bye, girl.
Bye.